up, guys? Welcome back to Big Yogi's Garage. Today I got Jay. What's up, Jay?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Good.
Me and you grew up in the same neighborhood. I grew up on Albert Street. Where did you grow up?
On Freedom Street.
On Freedom Street. Some people that I mean, I grew up in a little circle. You grew up around the same kind of cats on the east side. You know what I mean? How was your little, like, how were you raised right there in that neighborhood? Because I grew up in like I had a bunch of because I'm Cuban, right? So all my friends were just basically American and blacks. I didn't have no like Latino friends in the beginning. How did you grow up over there?
Okay.
How was your like atmosphere around there?
It was basically your average East Toledo, neighborhood. I grew up at the dead end of Freedom.
Okay. So not too much cars going in and out, right? Just the people that lived there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so that's cool.
But there was blacks, whites, Mexicans,
Yeah.
Basically, like I said, Toledo,
Yeah. Because the thing is, my best friends were like Mike, Mark, Dave. It's like a bunch of like just white boys, and I was the only one that was Hispanic. We had little Miguel, but he was more friends of them. So, and then I had my friend Bub, Kyle. Kyle, he was my good friend. Skip, LaMarcus Donnelly. So I had like about 3 or 4 really close, black friends, and then all of them were just straight white boys. And then I didn't, because the thing is, once I got to East Toledo, did you go to East Toledo Junior High?
Yeah.
That's when I started meeting more Latinos and stuff.
Right.
Because like Oakdale seemed like it wasn't that, at that time, it wasn't too many Latinos.
No,
not
when we were growing up. No, there was a couple, but not like there is today.
Yeah,
today it's more
it's
of
a lot more. So so what was it like? Okay, so you went to high school. How was high school? Would you go to Wait?
I went to Wait, but I only went for a few months.
Okay. Well, what happened? What happened where you got out of Wait?
I basically was skipping school, hanging out with people I probably shouldn't have been. Yeah, people I probably shouldn't have been hanging out with. My father passed away when I was younger, so that really caused a lot of confusion for me because being an adolescent, I didn't really know how to deal with those emotions and feelings. You know what I mean? He was my idol.
Yeah.
He's my pops. He was my role model. He was my everything. So to lose him, when I lost him, then I was lost, so to speak. I mean, I still had my mom, and she was a great woman. And but sometimes it's hard for a woman to raise a man. Yeah. I got 4 older sisters, so I think she was a little bit better with my sisters at raising them and not really knowing how to handle a teenage boy,
Yeah, because they say I've heard someone say a mom raises like a boy like a baby to be a boy, but then the father's supposed to raise the boy to become a man.
That makes sense. True, that makes sense. She did a great job.
Yeah, of course. My mom did a great job. Seems like we're always searching for a father figure, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I looked at that with my uncles. Like my uncles were like, my dad was gone, so I looked at my uncles as my father figures, or just like the neighbors, just like random people. I would always be searching or looking at see what that guy's doing with them to learn, Because I didn't have that stable guy right there. So where did that lead you? Did that lead you to a bad road? What happened?
Basically, I like I said, I was lost, man. My mom was still trying to instill a good belief system and, values and morals and stuff like that. But beings that, I was so focused on pain and what I was dealing with, I wasn't really trying to hear what anybody was telling me, and it wasn't that I didn't love my mom. I was lost. Yeah. And I was going through a lot as a teenager. When you lose your idol, I mean, like I literally carried my father to his grave, as a teenager, and that's a very hard thing to do. Yeah. So I was just basically, my mother worked second shift, so I would go to school, come home, there'd be a note on the table, like for me to do the dishes or, take out the garbage or whatever, because she had to go to work, and so she had to provide. So basically, when she was at work, I would be doing whatever, just trying to, block out my feelings and things I was going through, So as a teenager, you know, I started like smoking weed and drinking and just going down the wrong path and doing things I shouldn't have been, you know.
Yeah. Were you
At that age,
yeah,
right?
did you
So,
like just trying to hang out with your friends, try to do what they were doing and stuff like that?
yeah.
Kind of like
Mm-hmm.
and then like then and
Yeah.
then how did that led to a past where you were like getting in trouble with the law and stuff? How did that happen?
Yeah. So basically, um, I was hanging around some of the people,
Mhm.
uh, you know, I had my friends from the hood, right?
Yeah.
Basically. And some of them were involved in stuff that they shouldn't have been doing.
Mhm.
And it was, I don't know if it was necessarily me trying to fit in because I've pretty much been a leader type individual, but
Mhm.
I just like hung out with, you know, my friends and stuff. And a couple of them
Yeah.
were doing stuff that they wasn't supposed to. Well, to make a long story short, it was a crucial time in my life where I had my son's mom. She was pregnant with my son,
Mhm.
and we didn't have anywhere to go, and I had to get money quickly.
Yeah.
And my friend's brother always had these big wads of cash, you know. And I'm
Yeah.
like, man, what? I'm like, where you work at? He's like,
Mhm.
man, I don't work, I hustle. And I'm like, man, you got to show me how to, you know, I need money right away, man. I'm about to, you know, I ain't got no place to go. You
Mhm.
know, I ain't got no gas in my car.
Yeah.
And basically he showed me how to hustle, you know.
Yeah.
And so with that comes other things like
Yeah.
prison, you know.
Yeah.
So basically, I got in trouble,
Mhm.
you know, went to prison, you know, came home, tried to change my life. Everything was going good at the beginning.
Mhm. How
Started
long did you
working.
do the first time? Sorry.
It was like almost 2 years.
Okay.
It was almost 2 years.
All right. So 2 years you came home.
So I came home, started working.
Mhm.
I got a job at a factory
Mhm.
and was working the first week there. Everything was going great. I was feeling good about myself because, you know, internally I wanted to change.
Mhm.
You know, I didn't want to be, so to speak, a bad person or, you know, somebody that wasn't doing the right things.
Yeah.
But a week after I started the job, the whole first week went great. I got a call the next Sunday night telling me not to come in, that they couldn't keep me because I had a felony on my record.
Oh, okay.
And it
They
was a
did a background
pharmaceutical
check.
company in Perrysburg. I won't say the name of it, but it was a pharmaceutical company. So I kind of understood, you know, okay, I
Yeah.
got a felony on my record. But at the time when they first hired me, I was honest with them. I said, hey, look, I got in trouble. You know, I did X amount of time. But I'm trying to be a better person. I changed my life.
Mhm.
And so yeah. So then next thing you know, now here I am again, jobless.
Mhm.
You know, bills are piling up. Don't know what I'm gonna do next. And it was so easy to just go back to what I knew.
Mhm.
You know, and one thing that helped me deal with not wanting to do, well, how should I say it? So basically I stayed drunk every day
Mhm.
to mask everything and to not think about the things that I should have been thinking about, like the consequences
Mhm.
or just what I was doing to my neighborhood, to my
Yeah.
society, you know, to the society that I was a part of. You know, anytime you're breaking the law, you're just contributing to your society's downfall.
Yeah. So you was just
And it took me a
numbing yourself basically
it
with the
took me a
alcohol
time, well, yeah, but with alcohol, so I just stayed drunk every day,
every
like
day.
years. Like I literally stayed drunk every day,
Mm.
and that was how I coped with anxiety.
Mhm.
That was how I coped with feelings that I didn't know how to deal with. That was how I dealt with the loss of my father,
Mhm.
you know, and just, you know, once those things started to change, though, once I stopped drinking,
Mhm.
you know, looking back on my life, I realized that a lot of my main problems came from staying drunk every day,
Yeah.
you know, and that's why I don't drink today, and I haven't drank in almost 7 years now.
Good
So it's
job.
not that I can't drink. I would love, you know, to drink, but
Yeah. Yeah.
sometimes I know my limits
Yeah, I
now,
asked you,
you
do
know.
you want to have some drinks on the podcast? And you're like,
Hmm.
oh no, but I didn't know that. I was
Right.
just trying to be like, curious, like, nice. So
Hmm.
I said, okay, we'll just bring some waters.
Right. No, it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, so boom, 2 years, you get out. And then what happened? Like, what happened after you lost that job? Were you drinking there too during that whole time? Like after you got out that second time?
Well, yeah, I was drinking and we were having people over to play cards and we were
Yeah. So
drinking,
you were
getting
still like in
bottles and
hangout
stuff.
mode. How old
Yeah.
were you? Kind of young still? In your 20s?
22.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you were still in like the party mode of your life.
Right. Yeah.
So it wasn't time to like just settle down yet. So you just did you start hustling right after you lost that job or what?
Not long after. Yeah. Not long after.
It's almost like it's almost like, okay, I had the same thing, man. It's like being like a product of our environment, right? Where we grew up at. I don't know about everybody, but where me and you grew up at, it's so easy because everyone around there, you can just see there's people there's people that are selling drugs and there's people that are doing drugs, and it's right there. And it's like if you're struggling living like me, I worked at Norplast for 10 years,
Oh,
living
wow. Okay.
paycheck to paycheck. My check was like, it went to my rent, to my mortgage, to all that, you know what I mean? To my car payments. And then what I was doing was mainly just to like have a little extra so I can do a little. So I don't put all the blame on you exactly or on me, or a lot of it is like the environment we lived in and we didn't have the right guidance. You said your father passed away. Me, I didn't have the right guidance.
Well, I mean, my mom was very good at trying to guide me, but
Yeah.
she just, she was always at work,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's kind of hard for her to raise me while she's at work and I'm at home.
Yeah,
You know
of
what I mean?
course.
And where I'm out in the streets doing
Yeah, how many
whatever.
times did she tell you not to do something and you didn't listen to her?
A lot, man.
Me too.
A lot, man. My parents, looking back, my parents were always right, man.
I know,
and it hurts now as an adult because I'm like, if I would have just listened,
Yeah.
But so now what I do is all the youth, anybody that I come into contact that'll listen, I try to share my story, man.
Yeah.
Because I figure like if I can just help one person,
Yeah.
then I'm doing my job. Then so.
So okay, so I mean, that's what I'm trying to do. That's why I wanted you on here. Like I wanted to talk to you. You told me a little bit about your story, so I was like, all right, come on, let's go. Let's share it. Let's
Right.
share with as many people, especially a lot of people that are gonna watch this are people from our neighborhood,
Right.
People that we grew up around,
Right.
You know what I mean? So they need to know these stories so they can know that it's not everyone that ended up going to prison or did some bad things is a bad person.
Right.
Everyone can
Right.
change, you know what I'm saying? So then what happened? What led to, you went back? What happened?
Yeah. So I got a job and I was working. I don't know if I could say the names. Probably not.
Yeah,
huh?
yeah. We can just say-
I'll just say a construction company.
Yeah.
I was working as a canvasser for a construction company, and things were going good. Things started going good again. Got a new car that I was paying for or whatever. Things was going good. I started to move up. I became a manager. I was a manager at the construction company, and actually things were going really well.
Okay.
I trained after I learned how to become a manager. I led and trained 6 to 8 other individuals to make this company a lot of profit, bro, here in Toledo.
Yeah.
I myself in 2005 made the company over $250,000 in sales.
God damn.
Yeah. So I mean, I was putting my all into it, man. I was working like 60 to 80 hours a week, on a $500 salary. But once I started doing the math, I'm like, man, I'm making $5 an hour. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not getting. So I started going to my boss and I said, hey, look, if I continue to produce for you, will you give me a raise? Can we go back and forth? Like the better I do, the more I get paid. I think that's fair to me, So he's like, yeah.
All right. So after that trucking job, then you made some mistakes and you ended up going to prison. Or not the trucking job. After that construction job, you ended up making some mistakes and going back to prison as a second time, right?
Yeah. So I was working for the construction company, and then after that, once I lost that job, I wasn't familiar with unemployment or nothing like that. I never even knew about unemployment. So I was looking for jobs and I kept applying, and every job, it seems like they wouldn't hire me because I had felonies, because of my record. And I let my pride get in the way because what I should have done was just started back from the bottom again. Got a, McDonald's, Wendy's, whatever, fast food, or just whatever factory job would hire me. And after applying for the jobs and getting turned down, I basically just gave up. And it was so easy just to go back to the streets and do, what I knew, So I started hustling again. And then I got set up. And then when I got set up, obviously I went back to prison. So,
So but that wasn't that's not the time where you fix yourself, right? In that second sentence, you still didn't learn. You still was trying to like.
I had good intentions. I had the best of intentions actually. I was working. I was trying to prove myself, and then when I lost that job and was struggling to find a new one, like I said, I just gave up, and it was so easy to get back into doing the same things. I just got right back into hustling, and then I got set up, and then went back to prison. So
what was the okay? So then the real time when you the tell me the change, what happened that time you were in prison that you said you felt like the phone call. Tell me a little bit about that.
Okay,
That was the last time you went to prison, right?
that was the last time.
Because that first time you kept messing up, and
the first two times I was just, I was lost.
you was drinking a lot.
I was drinking every day almost, and I just wasn't making good decisions. And in between that, I was trying to do the right thing, but I wasn't all the way there yet. So the third time, about a year into my 4-year sentence, I got the call that my mother had passed away, and that was the second worst day of my life, man.
Yeah, and she wasn't sick or nothing.
No,
This was something just like boom.
Yeah, she had a heart attack. Yeah, and it was totally unexpected. I had just seen her a few days before that. Like five days before that or something like that.
She came to visit you.
She came to visit me, and during the last visit we had, she asked me. She said, "Is this going to be your last time?" She's like, "You're too smart to be here. You are a good person. I know you've made dumb decisions, but you are a good person, and I know you can do anything you put your mind to, And she said, you just, tell me this is going to be the last time." So I made a promise. This is going to be the last time I go to prison, Mom. I'm going to change my life. I promise, And I gave her a hug, and that was the last time I seen her.
Damn, sorry, man.
Yeah, man.
And then did you go to her funeral and stuff?
No, they wouldn't let me.
Oh, for
because
real?
of my past, because of my prior being in trouble. They just wouldn't let me go to the funeral, man. So I had to deal with all that. I was already at the bottom. I was already locked up. I'd already had all my freedoms taken from me, and my, freedoms and liberties. Everything was taken from me, and then to be dealing with the guilt of making bad decisions and breaking the law and everything, becoming more aware of all the stupid things I had done, and and all the bad decisions I made, then to lose my mom on top of it. I went for almost a year where I didn't talk to anybody. Like, not the inmates, not the COs. I would only go to chow and go back to my cell.
So it's like a dark depression.
Yeah. So I was messed up, man. I was in shock.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, and then to not be able to grieve with your family and loved ones. I wanted nothing more than to be home with my family to console, to comfort, and to be comforted. Because, when my father passed when I was a kid, I didn't know how to deal with that. To carry my hero to the grave, I was messed up by that, but nobody really taught me how to grieve with that. That's why I went into the drinking and the smoking weed and to just doing whatever I could to keep my mind off of my emotions and my feelings. So when that happened, I broke down to my knees and honestly prayed to God, man, that you know, that he helped me get through it, that he let me come home, that I would try to do things the right way, the best I could,
Yeah,
right?
you said something about you earlier. You said something like you told God let you see when we were talking earlier.
Yeah,
Let
yeah.
you see things clearly, right?
I prayed to God
Yeah, you remember you told me.
to show me a better way, to let me see things His way,
Yeah.
you know, because doing everything my way wasn't working. You know, the life I was living, the decisions I was making, nothing I was doing, you know, nothing was working. So I prayed to God, you know, just show me what you want me to do, you know. And it took a while for everything to happen to get, you know, to where I am present day,
Yeah.
you know, obviously. But
Yeah.
I wasn't even sure if I was going to make it home, because right around that time I had got sick and a food poisoning or something. And the antibiotic that they gave me to fight the food poisoning, I was allergic to. So I was literally, stuff was coming out of both ends for like a week and a half, almost 2 weeks. I lost like 15 to 20 pounds. My face was sunk in. I was so sick that the COs and the staff members were asking me if I was okay. And I told them no, I wasn't. And I kept going to the doctor, trying to tell the doctor, look, whatever you guys are doing, it's not working. So I stopped taking the antibiotics on my own, because I just figured, you know, I would just try to eat and drink water and I just kept praying, like, please, God, let me make it out of here, you know? So I made a phone call home. And if I'm not mistaken, one of my family members called home or called the prison and told them, like, you know, something's wrong with my brother or whatever. I don't remember exactly word for word or whatever. But nonetheless, I made it out of that situation and was able to come home. I wasn't, at one point, I wasn't sure if I was going to even make it home, man.
Yeah. So okay. So boom. That's your last time in prison.
Yeah.
So what was it like? How did you're a truck driver now. How did you start that process?
Well, when I first came
Like
home,
this is the last time
yeah.
how did you what was your thing to become a truck driver?
Well, when I first got home, I started working at Wendy's.
Okay.
I
You took that pride away. You said
Yeah,
there's
all
no
the
more.
pride was out the door. I'm
Okay.
gonna do whatever I have to do
Promise your
necessary
mom.
to keep the promise to my mom, to live the way that I think God would want me to live, and to make better decisions for myself and my family. So I started working at Wendy's. Worked there, you know, for like a month and a half, something like that. I had a buddy of mine who was a salesman. He was selling meat off the back of a pickup. But I mean, there was good money in it. You know, if you could talk and you could sell stuff, you know, you can make good money at that. So he told me, man, you can make double or triple, quadruple what you're making at Wendy's. So I said, well, you know, get me a job. So he got me in, and I turned my little week's notice in, 2 weeks. I try to do a 2 weeks notice in every job I leave,
Yeah.
to be respectful of the company.
Yeah.
And I never want to burn a bridge, so that I can
Yeah.
always go back if I need to.
Not only that, they can get someone ready for their
Yeah,
position.
yeah, yeah, exactly. They can get the person they need to take my spot or whatever. So anyways, so then I went to selling meat off the back of a truck. Then I went to a factory job. You know, it was okay. It was giving me money to help survive, to survive or whatever. But I knew that I needed to do something a little bit better. You know, I wanted to make a little bit more money. And I had a cousin who was a truck driver. And I knew a couple other people that were truck drivers. You know, another guy that I know from the old neighborhood. So I knew there was good money in it. So I'm like, I'm gonna go get my CDL. So I contacted Trainco, and I called Trainco, and I said, hey, when do your next classes start and everything? And I would like to pursue, getting my CDL and all that stuff. And I can't remember. I was talking to somebody, and they said, the source has some kind of federal grant money that they give to people who want to go to college or get a trade or anything like that. They'll probably help you get your CDL. So I went down to the source, inquired about any kind of funding or help that I could get with it. And they said that they have a grant called WIA funding. And WIA funding helps anybody with college, trades, CDL to get your CDL, anything. You have to explain to them why you need their help. And at that point, the reason I needed their help was to advance my career, right? And they get a certain amount of money every quarter from the federal government that they can use for people who want to better their lives. And so they seen the interest in me. And so then they contacted Trainco, and Trainco said, yeah, Tim came in, he was inquiring about when we start. We start on such and such date. He's got to have the money by such and such date. So I had to go through a couple meetings and watch some videos and, do things in order to get the funding. And then when they seen that I was serious, they cut a check to Trainco. And then I went to Trainco for 6 weeks. I would go to work during the day, a 12-hour shift during the day. And then I would get off work and then I would go to work, and then I would go to school, truck driving, school at night. And then for 2 to 3 hours. And then I did that for 6 weeks. And then that next Saturday, I tested, got my CDL, and I had a company that wanted to hire me right out of truck driving school.
Yeah.
So I went down to Sharon, Pennsylvania, started working for a company. I went through their 5-week training program. And then started driving semis. So
was that like one of those ones where you got to sign a contract for like a year to work for that company or something like that?
Some companies you do, but no, this particular company I didn't have to.
Oh, okay.
You just have to go through their training because no matter what you learned at truck driving school, they have their own way of doing things. And so I went through their training program, and then I drove. I just wanted to get experience, and then get a better job.
Like a local.
Every job I go to, I always try to do the best I can and see where I can excel at, and move up in the company.
So every job you ever have, you always move up, huh? Like,
most of them I have. I've been fortunate and blessed. Yeah, most of them I have. Just
get in and out.
Just by showing initiative, showing up on time, actually early, being a hard worker, trying to learn different positions so that I know and can be useful in different areas. Like I'm a certified forklift driver. I went through the OSHA training and did that. I'm a crane operator. I can operate overhead cranes. I can use all kinds of different power tools. I can use different lifts and backhoes and bobcats and so I have a lot of experience.
So drive
right?
trucks,
drive semi, right? So the more you learn at your job, the more useful you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So when that last time when you got out, do you think you had? Did it feel like you had a lot of doubters, people like close to you that thought, he's probably just gonna go back to jail? Did you ever feel that?
Since I had already been to prison twice, 3 times now, right? A lot of people didn't give me a shot, bro. They, they thought, he's just gonna go back to the old life. He's just, how long is he gonna stay out this time? Which I take responsibility for that, though.
Yeah.
Because they had a right to think that way due to my past actions, right?
Yeah.
So it took a lot of personal growth and change, and over time of doing the right things, and people seeing that, then the respect started to come, which respect is earned, and we know that, right? So, but I had a lot of.
It's not about talking; it's about doing.
Right,
so you start showing them.
Right, and that's what I had to do. I had to, by people, by me not being back incarcerated, and by people not hearing bad things, and every time they talk to me, I can't talk, I'm at work, or by them seeing that. By them seeing the change and knowing the change, the doubt turned into respect. And I'm not gonna say like, everybody respects me like that, but
yeah, of course, no, not everyone's gonna respect us.
Right. Some of the doubters became believers once they seen that I was doing the right thing.
Absolutely. So I wanted to ask you, you've been in and out of prison. You've fixed your life now. What do you recommend for someone that's stuck in that cycle? In and out of prison every time they get out, what do you recommend, like, to break the cycle of stop doing that?
Well, for me, I had to change up people, places, and things. I knew that if I went back around all the old same people that were still doing the same things, I knew that if I did that, I would be you know, I would be more likely to go do the same things. If I was hanging out in the bars, what am I going to be doing in the bar every night? I'm going to be drinking every night. Every night you're in the bar, you're going to be drinking.
Yeah.
So if I went back to being in the bar 7 days a week, I'm going to be drinking every day again. You know what I mean? And things, you know, if you're hanging around 6 hustlers, you're going to be like the 7th hustler. You know what I mean? I read an article in a business magazine that said, if you hang around 5 successful people, you'll be the 6th. But if you hang around 5 losers or 5 quitters or 5 whatever, you're going to be the 6th one of those too. So, you know, so it's very important on who we associate ourselves with and who we hang around. So I try to hang around people who are doing, I'm a loner, first of all, kind of doing a decade or a little more than a decade in prison. That kind of helped me be a loner. Being caught up in just working and going home and living life. I don't really hang out with a lot of people. You know what I mean? I mean, I got a lot of love for people, but as far as giving other people advice, people, places, and things, that's important. You know what I mean?
That's 3 things. So when you get out of jail, if you really don't want to go back, good advice: change your people, places, and the things.
Yep.
So you don't get set right back in that same environment.
Now that doesn't mean you can't still show people love. Like I got homies or whatever, you know, that my boys from back in the days that some of them still ain't doing the right things, and some of them are. You know, when I see them, it's nothing but love. Hey, what's up, bro? How you doing, man? I miss you, bro, and love you, you know, whatever. But the ones that are doing bad, I just back up from. Because I'm not gonna allow, no matter what we had in the past, no matter our friendship, how long we go back, whatever. If you're doing wrong, I can't hang around you, bro. I'm not gonna allow you to bring my life down after I've worked this hard to get it where it is. You know what I mean? So that's where, you know, that's where the people come into.
So what do you recommend for a hustler? Like, let's say that someone does have some money and they're selling drugs and they got some money put away. What's a good recommendation for someone to break out of that game and start doing the right thing?
A choice.
Change your mindset.
Your mindset, the choices you make. First of all, you got to make a decision that I want to live a better life. And living a better life, you got to make that choice to stop doing all the things that got you to the bad life, right? So the mindset, telling yourself that you want to do better and that you have to do better. And you're not going to accept anything less than doing better, right? That, first of all, like I said, it's the mindset. Secondly is the money. If you have money, then I would invest it in some, you know, you could buy a semi and become a truck driver. You know, you could get your CDL and then use that money to buy a semi and become an owner operator, or, you know, you could start a small business. There's a lot of people starting their own small businesses. You know, they can go get an LLC, you know, get a small business loan, take the business, you know, come up with a business plan. You know, there's a lot of things that they can do, but making that decision to stop doing illegal things and things that aren't benefiting yourself or your society, and to make that decision to do things that's going to benefit yourself, your family, society in general as a whole, you know, and everything else. So my advice would just be change your life. Right?
So I wanted to change my life, so I started, you know, trying to be, you know, inspirational and motivational and all that stuff. I wanted to ask you, do you have kids?
Yeah.
Do
I have a son and a daughter, a stepdaughter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you are you a motivator, and do you explain things to them, or how is that?
Well, you
are
know,
you more of a shower by your actions, or do you tell people?
A little bit of both. Like my son, we don't have the best relationship right now, just because, you know, he's going through his own stuff. I deal with my own stuff. You know, he's grown. You know what I'm saying? He's a man now, so his.
How old is he? 25?
25. Yeah. So, well, 98. He was born in 98.
Yeah, he's a grown-ass man.
Yeah. So, so he's a man. I can't tell him anything.
It's hard.
I mean, if he wants to talk about stuff, I'm here. I'm always going to listen. I'm always going to try to offer good advice. I lead by example, though, right? So when I was doing all those bad things, or not necessarily all those bad things, like I was doing all kinds of bad things, but when I was living a life that I shouldn't have been, I was setting the wrong example.
Yeah.
So now I just try to set the right example by being a hard worker. I get up, I go to work every day. When I'm tired, if I didn't sleep good the night before, if I didn't get no sleep, if I'm sick, you know, I don't call off if I ever call off work, it's because I'm sick.
Yeah.
Right. Like I had to be super sick, but just trying to set the good example, be a hard worker,
Yeah.
be honest. Like I don't lie, right? Not saying that people don't, you know,
Little white
stretch
lie.
the truth. Yeah, a little goofy stuff, but like I try to be as honest as possible.
Yeah, like a
You know,
stand-up guy,
right.
stand-up kind of guy.
Right. So that, because nobody wants, you know, to be around someone who's full of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I try to be the best version of myself I can be, the best man I could be, the best version of God I can be, right?
Yeah. So you're a man of God?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's good. I was raised in religion my whole life. I don't practice it right now, but my whole life I was raised in religion. So I wanted to ask you, like, so who was your role models like growing up?
My father was, you know, he was a great man.
He passed away early in life,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So when he passed away, what was, like, what did you use for, like, you know?
Well,
like, as a
at
role
first
model?
I was lost.
You was devastated, right?
Yeah, I was just lost. I didn't.
Yeah.
I was lost, man, because that was
Man,
my
I'm sorry
hero.
to hear about
You know, that was
shit,
my.
man. That's devastating because I always wanted a father. You know, my father was in prison and all this. So I mean,
So we had like opposite ends
Yeah.
on that. Yeah, my dad was like kind of like the all-American dad. You know, loved his country. He was in the military.
Oh yeah.
He was an iron worker for Local 55. Till he broke his back, and then he used to hunt and fish.
Yeah.
You know, and he used to take me hunting and fishing all the time,
And he was at your games and shit.
and yeah, he used to come to my games and everything, and
Yeah.
yeah, he was a
So
great guy.
so when he passed away, that was like a big hole in your heart, right?
Yeah, I was lost, man.
Yeah.
I like when you think of a teenager who's lost, I was lost, man. Started smoking weed, you know, started drinking, started hanging out with a couple people that I probably shouldn't have been doing things, trying to be grown and wasn't grown, you know what I mean? But I was just doing whatever I could to mask the pain, you know, from that loss. When you gotta carry your own father to his grave as a teenager, a young teenager, not a 19. It was the year of my 16th birthday. I was still 15.
Yeah.
At least that's what I remember, anyways. I blocked out so much of my past during that time that I don't even remember most of those years. I either remember the real good things or the real bad things. Some of the in between I can't remember, just because I was struggling so much, dealing with being a teenager and dealing with teenager issues, and then losing, you know, your hero, your everything. You know, I was devastated, man.
Damn, that's crazy. So I wanted to ask you that's some really but like, okay, so when your dad passed away, like, who did you look up to? Was there any other father figures, uncles, friends?
I had an older cousin.
Like, cause I always try to look at my uncles, somebody like.
My family's not really close like that.
Close.
Like my dad, he wasn't all that close to his family. My mom, she was. I mean, they had some kind of relationship. She had siblings, and you know, but as far as like having big family reunions and all that, we very seldom did any of that. Maybe earlier when I was very little and don't even remember, we might have had some family reunions and stuff like that. But my family was just never really close like that, man. It was all love when we seen each other, right? Yeah. But as far as role models, I had an older cousin who used to hunt with us, and after my father passed away,
It's like the streets raised you.
Well, that's essentially what happened because
Yeah.
my mom was working second shift, and when I would get home from school, I would run the streets and hang out with my friends and just do whatever. And I started getting in trouble, and my older cousin, he pulled me aside. He came to the house like, "What are you doing?" And he meant well, but at that time you couldn't tell me anything, right? I was lost. I was rebellious and all that other stuff. So
Yeah, we grew up in the same neighborhood, right? And I don't understand how you are a Bills fan. I've always wondered that because we've been friends on Facebook for years, and you're a diehard, like all
man.
about Bills, Bills, Bills. I'm a big Steelers fan.
Yeah.
I always wondered, how does someone from our neighborhood become a Bills fan? How did that happen?
So basically, my dad used to come to my games, right? And when he got sick, he had a brain tumor, and when he got sick, he could no longer come to my games. So when I would look in the stands and not see my father there, that was all the support that I had because like I got 4 sisters and I had my mom. They wasn't into sports like that, so they didn't come to the games and everything. But my dad would, and when he stopped coming to the games because he was sick, I just quit playing sports.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, and but I've always loved sports. I've always been a sports guy. I was always athletic, and so around the time that I started watching football was when Jim Kelly came to the Bills in '86.
He got drafted there?
No, he went to the USFL first,
Oh, okay.
and then he came to Buffalo, and then once we got him, he was a real good quarterback in Florida, in Miami, and so when he came to the Bills, I was excited. I didn't know everything because I was still younger, not like I know sports now, but all I knew he was supposed to be good. Like I'd seen articles in the paper and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was like
or in the Sports Illustrated.
he was supposed to be like the new hot quarterback that's coming out.
So the first year we kind of sucked, and then the second year we were better, and then next thing you know, now we're in 4 straight Super Bowls.
Yeah, you guys have a dominant defense back then. Like you guys are sweet.
Right, man. So going to 4 straight, we're the only team to ever go to 4 straight Super Bowls, right? Even though we lost, but still.
But you guys still had that big dominant, and that's right when you started liking them.
Yeah. Well, when I started, like the first Super Bowl I seen was '85. It was the Bears and the Patriots. That was the first Super Bowl I started watching, but I didn't have a team at that time.
Yeah.
But when I started reading about the Bills and their players, and then hearing like bits and pieces of their story or whatever, just watching sports in general, it became my team. And then during that dark period of my life, losing my father.
That was around the same time.
Yep. So, and then not knowing how to deal with grief and loss and stuff like that, and then not really having a huge support system at that time. I was going through a lot, and that was like one of the things, the bright spots, right? The Bills were winning, we got one of the best teams in the NFL. I couldn't, every football season I was super geeked and excited, you know what I'm saying? Because that's my team. We're going to win the Super Bowl this year, and then we get to the Super Bowl and it'll be bad. But that was one of the bright spots that I had. So it was more than football for me. That was helping me get through life.
Damn.
Even though I didn't know the players and they didn't know me, they were like my family, because I was excited. I was a fan of football. I was a fan of the Buffalo Bills, and it just helped get me through them dark times.
Yeah, you can live through things like that. That I like the Steelers because we went to Oakdale, right? So we played for the Oakdale Vikings. Butch was my
mine too.
coach.
Mine too. Yeah.
So then I liked the Vikings. I had like a Vikings hat on. My Uncle Henry was a big Steelers fan, and one of his best friends, Frank, was a Cleveland fan. So he wanted to like go against them. So he had like this leather Steelers coat. He told me, "Man, you don't like the Vikings. You like the Steelers." So my Uncle Henry kind of basically talked me, my brother Ricky, my Uncle Joe, and all them. We all became Steelers fans.
Okay.
And so now that's what we've been following them. And every once in a while we go and watch a game and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, because I feel that football is really important in life. I know they talk about hits and all that, but I think like a kid going into either flag football or
Oh yeah.
any
Yeah.
kind of sport, a team sport, but like I think football is like the ultimate because it teaches you, like it gives you like that time where you can be aggressive against that other player. Like let's say you're a lineman. I'm a lineman when I played football. You get to, block them, punch them, and it gets that anger out. Like I like playing flag football like as a
The
grown adult.
you like the physicality.
Yeah, because it gets me like, you get these like frustrations at work or here or something like that, but then you can go play a game, push somebody around, they're pushing you around.
Well,
At the end of the day, you get to hug each other, good game, congratulations. And I think it's really important to have that outlet. And not only that, it builds like like almost like a lasting friendship. That team, like every football team or every basketball team that I've ever been on or anything, like you build friendships for the rest of your life. I know guys that I played for Oakdale, they're still my friends now to this day. Do you have that?
well, yeah, yes and no. I mean, um, I don't really hang out with anybody. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying? I like when I see the old homies people I went to school with. I always show love. Hey, what's
Yeah,
up, bro?
yeah.
Good seeing you. How you doing? You all right?
Yeah, yeah.
But I just don't really hang out with any
Yeah.
of them.
But you see them on Facebook and
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stay with, and then
And
if you
I
see,
got a couple
if you
people
see
that
them, me too. Like I
that
got a
played
bunch of
sports with.
people. Yeah. So like I wanted to ask you. I always ask people about their like. I know that you're a truck driver and all that, but I always ask people about their dreams, like for like the future or what's something that do you want to have a business or anything like that. Tell me a
Yeah,
little bit
yeah.
about that.
So like future goals.
Oh yeah, future goals.
Yeah, future goals wise, I wouldn't mind getting my own truck and being an owner operator, and possibly getting a few more trucks and starting like a small fleet, or just starting another business, maybe franchising or something like that. I just want to work for myself, man. During the pandemic, I started making T-shirts. I got the different machines that I needed to do it. And I started making T-shirts, but I didn't do it on a large scale, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't actually start a business. I didn't, I didn't do any. It didn't go anywhere,
Yeah.
right? But I've been a supervisor and a manager and a team leader and all that stuff, at the majority of the jobs I've been at, and I like to take things and make it better. And like everywhere I go, I see things that I can make better. But if I don't become like the owner or the director of operations, a lot of companies just get stuck in their own ways. But I want to start a company that, first of all, to help other people be employed because it creates jobs and stuff like that. But I want to start something that helps people. That provides a service or which trucking does because everything we have comes by trucks, right? So, or boat or train or whatever, but still by semi. But yeah, so a dream of owning my own business, that's what I want to do.
So you don't have to work for someone your whole life.
Right.
Eventually have some people working for you.
Right. Or team up with somebody who already has a business and seeing what I have to offer and bring something to the table, because I have a lot of different business experience, various machines, forklift. I was certified forklift operator, crane operator, overhead crane, different kind of lifts, various power tools. Obviously I drive a semi, so I bring a lot to the table. So, but eventually owning my own business is the ultimate goal. So.
Yeah, because I can tell by the way you act and the way you are, like that any job that you've ever had, you just moved up. the ladder.
Done
You know
my
what I
best
mean?
to, yeah.
Because you're like you got that leadership, that leadership aspect. So I can see you easily having your own business and being able to lead a bunch of men to, truck driver. I don't know. I don't care what business. The thing is, it doesn't matter what business you start. Once you start a business, your dream will come. We don't even know what our dreams are most of the time. But like, okay, you get out of prison, you want to start, you want to make it, right? But you really don't know. But you're like, okay, I'm gonna work at Wendy's, and all of a sudden the opportunity came to be the meat guy or selling,
Yeah,
then the
yeah.
opportunity came to get your CDLs. There's gonna be opportunities that keep
As long
coming.
as you don't give up,
Yeah,
there's gonna
don't
be more
give up because
opportunity, right?
somehow it might even be you might have all this whole trucking company, but it might not. You might have a tow truck company. You never know.
Yeah.
You might be like, you know what? It's more money to pick up these semis, like them big semis, and
Yeah.
then because you just keep working on something, and then your dream will reveal. I didn't want to get out of prison and clean toilets, but
Right.
I was like, I have to do this because my mom's already have a cleaning business. I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna start saving up my money. I start saving up my money, $50 here, $50 there. Start buying me all my stuff to
Yeah.
have, so I
That's
can
good,
create
man.
a cleaning business, like a subscription model business, so I can keep getting money. Because this was my dream. Sitting down, talking to people like you, having a great conversation. Like this kind of stuff feeds my soul.
Nice.
It gives me like something to do. Like, okay, all day today I was working. But then I wanted to come here. I come here. I get to sit down with you, talk about something meaningful, something that might help a kid, it might help a grown adult. You never
Right.
know.
And anybody,
Yeah,
yeah.
like there's things that we need to do to like we need to like spread these like word out so we can get people like I don't know. I feel like people need us. You know what I mean? I feel people need these stories. So that's why I feel like your story feeds me. I tell you a little bit about me. It feeds you. Like I believe all this happens for a reason. Everything like I meet
Right.
like like you said. I think you told me earlier we were talking outside. Everything happens for a reason.
Yep. Yep.
And I think today is like something beautiful. I wanted to ask, oh shit. I wanted to ask you about you told me you're a man of God.
Yeah.
How did you find God? Like did you after prison or in prison?
Well, it started out basically in prison. So, when I told you, my mom passed away,
Okay.
and I was in a very deep, dark place, and I was just basically at the bottom. I mean, I was stripped of all my freedoms. Now I have no parents. My parents are in heaven. Well, there's actually I want to touch on another thing. So, right before my mom passed, we were talking a lot through mail, over the phone, and visits and stuff. And I asked her, Mom, what's one thing, if you could go back and in your life and do over, what would you do over?
Okay.
And she told me I will go to church more. And I said, oh, okay. And then I asked her why, and she told me, what her belief system and why she would have started going to church a long time ago. And then I used that as part of my motivation. But it was just, I was already at the bottom, at the very bottom. So I prayed to God. I said, God, if you'll give me this chance, if you'll let me go home, I promise that I'll try to be a better me. I'll try to, do the best I can, and I'll try to help others, and influence others, or talk to others, or at least I'll show them by being a hard worker and by not doing the things that I used to do. I just prayed to God, you know what I mean? And so it that prayer that day, I didn't like start reading the Bible every day or every hour or anything like that. And I didn't carry my Bible with me and everything and like that, because in prison they got a thing that's called jailhouse religion, where when people get in jail, then they start reading the Bible or the Holy Quran or whatever religion they follow, and they'll try to like act like they're holy, but then either they're doing things in prison that they're not supposed to be doing, or they come right back home and do the same stuff they were doing that got them in prison. So I just started reading my Bible from time to time, but I always felt like a connection, or like something was like a gravitational pull, you know? And so I would read my Bible from time to time, and, you know, especially on those really bad days where I wanted to give up, or where I started to be real negative, or my thoughts would start to go negative, I would just read a little piece of it, or I would say some prayers or whatnot like that. So then after that, when I got home, I had a friend of mine who had started going to church. And me and him, we were basically, when we were running the streets and living the fast life and all that stuff, we were doing all that together. So then when he started going to church, it was easy for me to go to church with him. So when I stayed down in Bellevue for a short period, I went to church with him a couple times, and it was nice, man. It was really nice. Except every time I would go in there, I would start bawling, man, like crying. And I tried not to show emotion that much like that, you know, but it seemed like every time I would go to church, I would just break down and cry. And one thing I realized later on was that it was just all those built up emotions of things that I hadn't dealt with in my life, all the guilt from the things that I had done wrong, you know what I mean? And it was just me being cleansed, though. You know, that's the way I looked at it. And the more I became a believer, and the more that I wanted to do the right thing and show people, hey, I'm not just a drug, you know, I'm not just an ex-con, or I'm not just an ex-drug dealer, you know, I'm a good person and this and that. I felt God pulling me, you know. So long story short, my buddy, a few years had passed, and I really wasn't going to church or nothing like that. I still believed in God, but I didn't know him, you know, fully. So then my buddy called me, and he said, hey, if I come down to Northwood, will you go to a church in Northwood with me? And I was like, yeah, I'll go to church, you know, because I had been wanting to go anyways. I hadn't made that step yet. So he comes down, we go to church. We actually went to the wrong church. There was two Grace churches. One was Grace Point, and one was a different Grace. Well, the first one we went to, you know, we walked in, and they were like, you know, can we help you? And we're like, yeah, we're here to go to church. You know, we were all like enthusiastic about it, and they were just like skeptical and setting off like weird vibes or something. And I'm like, so my buddy's like, are we at the right church? Is this Grace Point? And they were like, no, Grace Point is across the road. So we ended up leaving that one and going across the road. And when we got to the one across the road, it was a total different atmosphere. It was like, you know, we were welcomed with open arms. They were like, hey, how's it going? You know, welcome. You know, come on in, you know.
Yeah, I know most churches are like that. I don't know what was wrong with that other church.
I don't know, man. They just had like it was a weird vibe. I think it was just because it was such a small church,
like
right?
a small private church.
Yeah, they like maybe there was just a certain amount of members, and there was only like 15 people there or something like that.
Yeah, because most of the time they're pretty happy.
And plus, like, we wasn't, like, I know, like, some people when they go to church, they like wear their best Sunday suit or something like that, and we were just dressed like regular people, right?
Yeah, you had a Buffalo Bills jersey on.
Oh,
probably.
yeah, I had my Bills, Josh Allen jersey on. No, but so then we went to the other one, and they welcomed us with open arms, and my buddy so Grace Point Church in Northwood, there's 3 of them. They have a campus down in Fremont, right? And then they have a Tiffin campus. So my buddy was going to the Fremont one. That's how he found out about the one in Northwood. When he found out about the one in Northwood, he knew that if he came there, that he could draw me in and other people that he knew, possibly bring them to church. And that's what happened. So I started going. I liked the people there. I liked the pastor. The pastor is great. Shout out to Pastor Harold. And so I started liking it. I started receiving the word, and started going every Sunday, and then started going to their different classes they had, like Connect class and something like that, or a couple of different classes I went to learn more, you know, and to grow in my faith and stuff like that. And then Now I go to Bible study almost every Thursday. I don't go every Thursday or every Sunday, but I try to go as much as possible, right?
Yeah.
Just to honor my Lord and Savior and to learn more, and to grow in my faith and stuff like that, and to fellowship and stuff like
Do you
that.
feel that
But I'm not. I don't want anybody to think that I'm perfect.
Yeah.
Because I mentioned God, and I don't push my religion on anybody. I will if it comes up in conversation.
Yeah.
I have no. I love to talk about it, but like part of the reason I go to church is because I know I'm not perfect. The only one that's perfect is God, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to be the best version of myself and the best version of God that I can be. And I've invited like family and friends, and some of my families came, and a couple friends have came, and my buddy invited some of his family and friends, and we've actually brought people to the church, and it's just good, man, because you gotta believe in something.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna believe in anything, it's Jesus
Do you
Christ.
feel like God is a big reason of the person you are today?
I wouldn't be me if it wasn't for God, right?
Okay.
I can't take the credit for the things that I've done in my life. So God gives us free will. So free will is the decision to do what we want to do when we want to do it, right? I can walk out of here and make a bad decision or a good decision, but ultimately, God is what led me here. He's the one that predestined my life. And I won't get into too much, biblical stuff right now, but I can't take the credit for everything because he allowed me to wake up today. And every day is a new day to become a better me and to do the right thing. And that's all I'm trying to do, and so.
Do you believe that all the bad things you did, not saying that God sent it to you, but them bad things are like not, I don't know how to say it, not sent to you, like, but to build the person you are. Like you had to go through
Absolutely.
that. Like God tests you.
Well, I don't
know how to say
so
that.
some of it is free will.
You might
right?
know more than me because I don't go to church.
I believe some of it's free will. I
Also,
believe
you made decisions that messed you
yeah,
up. And
but I believe that the skill sets and the way that I've dealt with things and what I've learned on the other side of it, I believe that I was meant to go through it, and that those things that I've been through in my life, whether it be something that I self-inflicted, the choices that I made that got me in trouble, or whether it be, losing a loved one, or any of the stuff that I've been through, the struggles that I've been through. I believe that he put me through them as a test or as something to learn from, and we're going to be tested our whole life, right?
yeah.
I mean, that's my opinion. And
Yeah, I don't know, man, because I believe I'm here, like I'm sent here for a reason, and every day I'm always wondering, like exactly what it is. I know I'm trying to inspire people and to work out and to be like
Absolutely.
my values, man, is like love, care, respect. I want to show you. I want to show you love, care, and respect. I don't care if I don't know you. I love you, bro. I love you until the day you do something bad to for me to just say, okay, I don't love him no more. But I still will never have nothing against you. I would just be like, okay, go on, live your life. So like, man, I don't know. All these tests. I've been through a lot of tests, bro. And every day I get tested. Like, I always say I went to prison, but man, prison wasn't it. Like, I lost, when I went to prison, I lost my immigration status, right? I got deported. I told you I went
Yeah,
to an
that's rough.
immigration prison. When I got out, they tried to send me to Cuba. They can't send me to Cuba because Cuba's a communist country and they wouldn't accept me, but they still let me out here. So now I'm actually fighting for my life. You know what I mean? I'm not. People think that I'm doing this just to be like this, like social media star or some, some inspirational. For real, bro. At the end of the day, I'm trying to save my life because a Cuban immigrant that's deported in the United States. I'm stateless. I don't even like have the paperwork to have a job, to have a business. My whole business is my mom's business. My mom's name. This podcast is really all I have. This is all I have, and I don't make no money.
But it is inspiring though.
Yeah.
It is inspiring because I was inspired. by that, by you putting the workout stuff, on social media, and so you're an inspiration, just like I'm trying to be in any way I can. I mean, I'm not. I mean, I can always do more, and I'm working towards that. But
Yeah.
I believe you're an inspiration, and going through the things that you are,
Mm.
you know, man, that's a lot, bro.
Yeah.
Man, my hat's
Yeah.
off to you, man.
Yeah,
And
because I want to be like, I want to fix my life, but if I want to fix my life, I have to show value to not just you, to my whole
sure,
community.
sure,
I
sure.
want to show value to Toledo, so one day somebody can say, when the day comes when I say, hey, I need the governor of Ohio, or I need somebody to pardon me, because what I really would love is a pardon, expunge my record so I can become an American citizen again.
Yeah.
But I want to show that I am worthy of that. I want to show that Toledo, I'm worthy to have to get my record expunged. I wasn't a drug dealer because I was a bad person. I was a drug dealer because I wasn't taught right to go to college, to have a career. I wasn't guided the right way. My mom tried, but like you said, your mom was always at work. My mom was always at work. My dad was in prison. Your dad passed away. We lived similar lives. We were products of our environment. That was a lot of this stuff that was
Yeah.
around.
I mean, yeah. I
When you were
mean,
growing
that
up,
that
what
definitely
was you
played
like?
a
Our neighborhood. What was in our neighborhood?
drug dealers and drug users, man.
That's it. There was no
I
lawyer.
mean, there was good people mixed in. Don't get me
Yeah,
wrong,
but
but
there was no lawyers and doctors and shit telling us to become lawyers and doctors and
well, that's why guidance, having a good support system is so crucial, bro. Having people in your life that genuinely want to see you succeed, that care about you, that check on you. Oh, that's so important, man. And unfortunately, those people are far and few and in between, bro. You know, I think by starting this podcast, I think you're doing a great job to inspire others. You know what I mean? And I think that long term, it's not only going to help others, but it's definitely going to help yourself, man,
yeah.
because you're going to grow. The people you talk to are going to grow. Who knows what could happen by just sitting down with people, having genuine, real conversation, with good people, right?
Yeah.
So,
And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to sit down with a whole bunch of different people. I don't want to be, because some people say for a podcast to succeed, you have to have a genre. Like say has to be a sports podcast. I don't
right,
want it to be like that. I want to be able to talk about the Bills, but also talk about your prison story.
right,
But
right,
also,
right,
but also sit down with someone and talk about their clothing line that they want to sell. Because I want to promote people here in Toledo. I don't want to. I want to.
Yeah, that's awesome,
Like this ain't.
man.
I don't. To me, this is not. I don't want it to be like a world. I mean, I would. It would be fine if it was a worldwide thing because who cares? But I want to take care of these people here first. Like I want to talk to people here in Toledo. I want to promote people here in Toledo. I want to take care of my peoples first, and then worry about the future and like making this like a million, people podcast. I want to show value to us so I can get, I don't know. I think it makes me feel good to like I clean houses, right? I clean houses. I'm not a millionaire. Some
Right.
houses I clean for $100. So that means
Yeah.
I get in my car, I go to your house in Perrysburg, I clean your 2-bathroom, 2-bedroom house, like a little house for like a little old lady that she barely can do it, but she pays me $100 and that feeds me, bro. It feeds me with $100, but it feeds me because I helped that lady, bro. I'm
Sure.
a helper. I've always been a helper. And that's why I think when I got out, I started a cleaning business. Now I want to help people conversate. I want to help people spread their products. I want to help people grow their businesses. I want to give people ideas. That's what I want to do. I want to just have people dreaming. I want people to think like, man, I can go on Yogi's podcast. I'm a truck driver, but when I leave there, I want to leave. I want people to leave with a bigger dream than just like, man, I need to start thinking about owning my truck, my
Yeah,
business.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I just want people to keep dreaming, man.
I think that's excellent, man.
Yeah,
I
'cause,
think that's great, bro.
I think at the end of the day, if you don't keep climbing, you'll implode on yourself. Yeah.
I try to be a little better every day. I try to I mean, you know, I'm not perfect. You know, some days I have my days, you know, my bad days and my good days, just like everybody else. One of the reasons I did reach out to you though was, you know, because I see that you're trying to be inspiring. You know, well, you are being inspiring. You know, you're being an inspiration to people, and it inspired me to come talk to you because that's what I'm trying to do as well. And I just want to share my story with people because people glorify like the street life, like rap music and all that. They glorify like the money and the cars and the clothes and the you know, the hustle and all that stuff, the jewelry and this and that, which it's okay to have certain things, nice things if you work hard for it and everything, right? But I feel like they didn't hear the bad side of stuff, the truth. So I knew you've always, even though we don't hang out like that, you know, because of age difference, just because of life in general, different, whatever, different paths, whatever, you know, we knew of each other, whatever.
Yeah.
I've always heard good things about you, that you was a solid dude, right? So, and I've always had mutual respect for you. So I felt like coming on and talking to you on your podcast, sharing my story. If we could just help, like you said, we could just help one or two people,
Yeah,
man.
because you don't want to glorify the drug dealing part. You told me from the beginning when our first conversation on the phone, you don't want to glorify that. You want to glorify the great transformation, the story. You know what I mean? Yeah, because that's like you said, a lot of people like the rappers and stuff. That's all they glorify. It's just the bling bling, this or that.
But they don't talk about the pain and the suffering and the, you know, being incarcerated and fighting to protect your life in there, because people are dying in prison just like they're dying out here. My neighbor got killed over a cigarette.
Damn.
My neighbor
Prison?
in prison, in Allen, you know, in prison. Yeah. So my neighbor wanted a cigarette, and he was doing double life, and his bunkie wouldn't give him one, and he hit him with a pipe, bro. Blood was all over the ceiling, everything, all over a cigarette. People wasn't making it home, but they don't tell you about that. They don't tell you about having to fight to protect your manhood. They don't tell you about people getting stabbed and people jumping people and people kicking locker boxes and all. They don't tell you what happens inside there, because that's a whole nother world. But they also don't tell you that when you do time, your family does time, bro. You know that. You know, your people miss you. They want you out here. They love you. They need you, and you can't be there for them. So I wanted to come on and share the real part of it. Like, when you go to prison, that's not a man. You're taking the easy way out.
Yeah, that's just
you're
easy,
not
for real.
It's hard to be a good man. It is. It's hard, you know. I mean, in some ways it's easy, but you know, it's doing the right thing is hard.
Having responsibilities.
You know? Responsibilities are hard.
Yeah, taking
right.
care of your
So
wife,
I can
going
see
to
why
work.
people take the easy way out, but it's just not the right way. So
Yeah, because in there it's like hanging out, playing cards, watching football, going to the yard, working out with your, you know what I mean? It's jail. It's a pain in the ass, but really you don't have that burden of that responsibility of your whole family.
Because you're provided for.
Yeah.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you just call somebody and they're sending you $100.
Or whatever they can.
Or whatever, yeah. Sometimes they send you 20 or whatever.
But yeah, so in songs and stuff like that, they don't tell you the real stuff most of the time. Maybe in some they do, but so that's why I wanted to reach out, because I know together, you know, through good conversation, real honest conversation, we can help somebody, you know.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on, man.
Oh man,
thanks you so much. And then we're gonna keep going. We'll get some more podcasts. We'll talk about more things.
Because I got a lot more stuff to share, and I'm sure you do as well.
Yeah. All right, man. We'll see you guys later. See you next week. Bye.